How are you?
You're live.
We are live, and since we are live, we're going to start this meeting at 4:31. I'm not going to ask for an approval of minutes because I have not provided the minutes to anyone yet. And we are all sworn in, and we've all signed our NDAs. So I'd like to start this meeting with thanking you all to listening to my partner Rick Wilson last month. I think that both the town and Kaivu both have decided that it isn't the right time to consider Kaivu for the town, even for free, just because they have too much on their plate, and I think that Rick has too much on his plate. So we're going to defer that until a later time.
No, it was blinking.
Blinking. Oh,
Owl was blinking.
Is that a good thing or a bad
don't
thing,
know.
Paul?
No, that's okay. It's good.
Sorry.
All right. So with having said that, as I said, we do have a quorum, and we will go forward. And I'm just going to ask again Paul to lead us, if you will, and where he wants us to go. And we had a little chat before. You might want to relay what you were saying before to the committee and so forth.
Right. So I think right now our number one thing is we need to work on bringing in an IT person. So I know Brian gave me some feedback on the job description. And so I think we're going to, if everybody's okay, I think we can move forward with that. So my plan is on that is we need to approve it at the Board of Selectmen meeting. We'll be bringing that up under new business on the 28th. Once that's approved, we'll start looking for someone new, starting probably August 1st. We'll get that out and start the interview process. Hey,
How are you?
Good, thanks.
So that's probably the one that's hot button right now. The second thing that we're moving on is we're going to be working on picking an ERP system. We had a 6-hour meeting today with Tyler Technologies. We've been meeting previously with OpenGov, and that's really what we're looking at right now is trying to decide between those two companies. A lot of pros and cons on both sides. And so we're, after today's meeting, I'm a little bit of a vegetable right now because it was a lot of information in a 6-hour period. So I think we need to digest this a little bit. Again, our plan is by the 28th, we'll have a story in place, and we'll decide to move forward with between OpenGov and Tyler Technologies. So what I'll probably try and do is when Nairi and I have a chance to kind of work through this stuff, we're going to send something over to you guys and do a kind of a pros and cons sheet and just get your input. But we're going to need something pretty quick, probably this week, just to get your feedback if you have any on that.
Is that on the ERP system?
Yes, that's the ERP system. So the enterprise resource planning. So it's basically going to entail our financials. So it's going to be our accounts receivable, our accounts payable. It's going to be HR. So it's going to cover payroll and time attendance and that whole 9 yards, as well as budget.
Fixed assets, budget.
Budget book, capital planning. So, basically kind of covering a whole bunch of things. And there's a different things that are going to bolt on. Grant management's another one that we were talking about. So there's a number of bolt-ons, but I think the first thing that we need to do is we need to get through the financials and the payroll. Those are our first two things. And if we can get through that, then we'll start really improving our management process on the other items. So that's a hot button for us. And again, we're going to try and close that in the next week. Third thing that's big is the website. Again, I think we're leaning towards Civic Plus on the website. We took a look at 4 other vendors, really looking at a lot of our neighbors. And I think all in all, Civic Plus is probably the best one for us to cover our CRM portion of this. And I think that's got the most flexibility for us and moving forward. So we've talked to the guys in Roxbury. We've talked to the people in Middlebury. Roxbury's been using them for a while. Middlebury just deployed it a couple of months ago. And it's a pretty robust system. And I think it's going to cover everything that we need to do from, 311 to FOIA tracking to, basically one of our biggest things is going to be the agenda and minutes piece of it. And it's really going to improve from a town clerk standpoint, the ability to approve agendas and get agendas filed. And she's not going to have to run back here to get a stamp. It'll all be digital stamping and stuff. So, I mean, she's actually going to be able to go home and be able to push this stuff through. And the same thing on the minute side. So I really like that.
Did you do it when her daughter's getting married too?
Yeah, exactly. Yes, yes, right. Yeah, I just told her, before she says I do, you need to approve this agenda. Right.
Yeah. I will.
Yeah, right. Okay. Yeah.
Do you know, is there a way to search across agendas and minutes?
Yes. So, one of the things I think that I saw really big on the Civic Plus side is its search capability. Being able to look across not only that, but PDF files. They've got a really good AI setup in there. So I think, we're going to be able to do a much better job with all of that information other than what we've got. The bigger thing is the fact that they will go through and they will make us ADA compliant. All right, so it'll become an ADA compliant site. And then the other thing is that all the background tools, so as we continue to build agendas and minutes, it's going to keep us ADA compliant. All right, so it's not going to be like a one and done. This is going to be a constant monitoring going on. So I think a lot of that is one of the other reasons why I really like Civic Plus. It'll keep us protected from the threat of the DOJ.
We don't
going
need
forward.
Trump in town, right?
No, we don't. Yeah, we don't need those guys, and we don't need $100,000 fine and stuff. Even though we've got a little bit more, breathing room, they moved it out to 2028. So originally it was supposed to be April of this year coming up. So April 2027, they moved it out. So, but it's still something that we need to do. The other thing that we've got going on, and we haven't. Those are the two big things that are running right now. The number 3 is the .gov conversion. That one probably, to me, is one of my bigger pains right now. And that's, just trying to understand what Vancourt's got. Now, we got a cybersecurity grant. It's an 80-20 grant. I think we've got basically $54,000. We pay 20% of that, so it's about 10 grand, and the cybersecurity piece will pick up the other portion of that, and that's to do the conversion to .gov, and then also giving us 1 year of GCC license at Microsoft. So I'm still struggling with, should we do that? Do we take this cybersecurity grant, or do we stick with the current enterprise system? Because I know at some point in time, Connecticut's going to pass that law that says that everybody needs to be .gov. So, I mean, do we just, bite the bullet and do it now or after? But to me, right now, that's probably my tertiary thing. I need to get the website up and running, and then we can start to focus on the .gov thing. And the ERP is going to take a little bit of time for us to go through. So,
Paul, how long is this potential grant open for? Is there an indication?
No. I'll have to take that as an action item, and we'll go look at how long that's going to be.
Because if we can push it off for a year,
I don't think we're going to be able to push it off for a year.
Yeah,
But I mean,
okay.
if I can push it off for like 2 months, let's just get over this hump of getting the activity started on the website. Because one of the other things, I mean, we already have our .gov domain, right? That was one of the things that we went into Homeland Security. Got the domain. So when the website starts to work, we are definitely going to have that onto the .gov. It's just a question of what are we going to do with our mail system, right? Getting every, if that's what we decide to do, or if we're going to stay at .org.
Just out of curiosity, is it woodburyct.gov?
Yes, that's exactly what it is. It's basically replace the .org with .gov. That's what we did.
Good, okay.
What else we got? I think that's.
Sums it up.
I'm sure that there's a boatload of other things that are going on, but those are probably my 4 IT or technology related hot buttons, or getting a guy in place. That's the.
Yeah, it says period from 12/1/23 to 11/30/2027.
Okay, so I'm sorry, it was November 27th,
November 30th.
2027. So all right, so we do have about a year to crank through that. So
All right. One thing I'd like to note, I didn't want to interrupt you, but I do know that Brian provided you information. Tom did also. I think I sent that to you as well.
Yes.
So
yes.
those
And I think a lot of Tom's comments were, why are we doing .gov, right?
Oh, no,
it was.
No, I'm sorry. I meant for the IT.
Oh, the IT thing. Okay.
Right, yeah.
Yes.
So
yes, I did get that.
On
Yeah.
Tom, for Tom Plus. I just wanted
Yep.
I didn't want to exclude him.
Yep.
I know Brian sent you some great stuff as well.
Yep.
Bill, have you been sworn in?
No, I
Okay.
went today and they told me to come back.
Right, because I know Maria is not here this week.
I am allowed to swear you in.
Okay, so
I just need to find it.
What-
I can swear at you. I can also do that too.
do you have that NDA?
I do.
And
Yes.
have you been? I don't want you to give it to me until you are sworn in.
Okay.
So, but maybe we can do that. So we'll get you official.
Okay, cool.
And guys, this isn't a time to slack off. This is a time to decide what we're going to discuss next and so forth and so on, and what other issues should be coming before our committee.
While we're doing that, I did have a question about the NDA, but I
Sure.
may have answered it myself by just reading through the minutes and what have you. But I did notice, the meetings are on YouTube and recorded and so available to public. So what type of information is required? Is an NDA required?
Great question. An NDA is for the times really when we go into executive session. We'll ask Kathy to be excused, and any other guests that is here will be excused. We have gone into one session, but that's the only time that an NDA will be invoked.
Okay.
So if and NDAs generally, from a legal point of view, if it's public information, you are allowed to discuss it with anyone you want.
Yeah.
If it's not public information, you are not allowed to discuss it. That's where the NDA comes.
Yeah, I just wasn't sure in this type of
Right.
Yeah. first time working with government.
And if we do go into executive session, this owl will be turned off.
There we go.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Now it makes sense.
That's a good point.
Yep. Cool.
If the owl is on, there is no NDA. Paul and I, you ready, Paul?
Yes.
Go for it.
Okay.
What do I have to do?
You gotta raise your right hand.
It's on tape.
You, Bill Hayden, having been chosen as a regular member of the Ad Hoc Technology Committee of the Town of Woodbury, do solemnly swear to affirm, as the case may be, that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Connecticut, so long as you continue as a citizen thereof, that you are not subject to any of the disqualifications from holding said office enumerated in the Charter of the Town of Woodbury, and that you will faithfully discharge the duties to the best of your skill and ability.
I do.
You're sworn in.
I'll take your NDA.
Fair enough. Let me just sign it.
It's the 20th today.
Okay, thank you.
One other thing, Paul, that you didn't mention, we do have a contract ending with Vancord at the end of September.
Yes.
So that's,
There you go. We are all official now.
There we go.
I'm sorry, Nairi, the floor was yours.
we have a contract also ending with Vancord at the end of September. So that's coming up for renewal. We haven't gotten any renewal information from them, but nor have we submitted any RFPs out to solicit anyone else at this point.
Okay. That's something we may want to discuss in executive session or open session, with or without the owl, for instance. So,
Well, I think that's a good question.
all right. So that's the question you two have to decide.
Yeah.
We're not going to decide. You two.
No,
I was just adding number 5 to Paul's
Right,
list.
right. Do we have a list of Paul's that you said number 5?
Oh, that was just basically the 4 things that I said,
Oh, I'm
which
sorry.
was, yeah.
I got it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So folks, and I'm asking for the leaders to where do we go from here? And that's for anyone in the room. And Kathy, as I know, if I'm the chair of something, anyone who's involved is here can be involved. So if you have something you think we should be discussing, go for it.
Not discussing, but Kathy Doyle, 35 Washington Road. The one thing I can speak to as a member of several ad hoc committees is we're very excited with the new hire as the executive assistant for the first selectman, because we have a Facebook page and we've started an Instagram page. And they'll be working on that to identify what can be posted and when over the next few weeks. So that's very exciting for us because it's a new means of communicating with the public that I think will be very helpful.
Great.
So that's number 6, really.
That's actually, yes, yeah, that's true. That is number 6.
And I'm sure Paul is thrilled. I haven't met Sue Ellen yet, but
Yeah.
I'm great.
That's the one thing I can share.
Sure.
Yeah, and I think, and that's a key point, because I think some of the things that we're looking at is how do we continue to communicate, from a town standpoint. I know it's probably not a whole bunch of technology stuff, but that's a lot of, looking at a policy, social media type policy that says, here's what we're going to try and do, right? And that's why we opened up the Instagram. And I think we're up to 35 followers now. It's just like we're smoking, right? So Bill,
I'm one of them.
oh, awesome,
We found it beneficial. Like, right
that's-
off the bat, it was like, this is great.
Awesome, yeah.
I didn't
And-
realize there wasn't one before.
Yeah, there wasn't actually.
Yeah.
Sue Ellen started about 2 weeks ago, and I think that was her very first act. Was she changed over the Facebook and got us an Instagram handle, and we've been kind of ramping up the things that we're going to be putting on there. So a lot more communication coming from the first selectman's office, or actually from the town, and we're going to take a look at what we can do for some standardized branding. Again, all the departments in here have been running pretty much independent on the way that they've been communicating on Facebook. I don't want to prevent that happening, but I think what we need to do is we need to tighten up, what's coming out of all the departments, and making sure that, if the fire department says something that they're tagging the town so that the town can, maybe even just share that again. Same thing with any of the other departments. And I expect the same thing the other departments to be doing for the stuff from the town. So thanks, Kathy, for reminding me for number 6.
Can I add number 7?
Sure.
You talked about a point of sale or something at the transfer station.
Yes.
So people can buy bags, because I'm just seeing a lot of negative type stuff on.
Yes. So there's a couple things that are on that. That actually is something, again, that you guys might be able to help with. And I know Brian and I had a conversation about that because he likes ubiquity, and so do I. But I think that was one of the things that we need to do, is we need to be able to get the signal from the town garage all the way up to the transfer station, and be able to start putting in a point of sale in there. Because right now it's cash or check. We really should be getting away from cash and more of just credit card only up there. So that was actually some of the things I've been talking about. I think we need to do something. And I did, the last time I was there, I did go look at their rack, and they have about 4 open ports. So I think if we were to try and work through the thing, I don't think they're POE enabled, but that you can put an injector on there, right? And we can get that thing powered. So yeah, I don't think that's going to be a big deal. But
Get bags.
yeah, well, I don't think bags are a bill. So I know one of the things that we are trying to do is get the bags in the Public Works garage, so you can stop by and see Sue, and that may be another thing that we can do is you get something up there with Bill, and
I'm just thinking if somebody goes there, they don't have the right bag breaks.
Right.
I need a bag.
yeah.
If you go to point of sale on credit card only,
Yep.
I don't think you can charge. I don't think you should be
No.
charging extra for a credit card.
Right.
I know we do now.
Yes.
And that's understandable because you can bring a check in and pay.
So yeah, but a couple of things I understand is, especially if you're going to pay your taxes, right? So, 3% on $1,400.
Yeah.
Right.
I was like, man, I just mailed my check.
Right, exactly.
A month
Yeah, I'm not
later.
paying an extra couple $100 just for the getting the mileage on my card. I'd rather just, do the ACH thing and, pay $2 and then you're done. Right. So I agree. I think, but some of the smaller cost things, but some of the bigger ones, you're probably not going to be able to do. Right.
To go to the transfer station and have credit card only, to charge any percentage extra would be unkind.
I think legally we have to give somebody a cash option in Connecticut.
Okay.
I think any place that takes any sort of payment in Connecticut needs to take cash
Okay.
as an option. I'll have to verify that, but I believe that's
Okay.
the case.
Oh, that's interesting. All right. So one of the things, so as we're talking about point of sale stuff, whoever we pick as an ERP supplier, we want to make sure that if they do have some type of point of sale offering as part of their package, we probably want to take a look at that. If not, obviously there are some other ones that we have, like Square. Obviously, the library uses Square. There could be another ones. Nairi and I looked at when we were at the last CCM convention. I think there was called Invictus or something like that, where they take everything. I mean, they do Zelle, they do PayPal, and then they take cash. And what they'll do is you can print out a barcode. You can go to Dollar General, and you can give Dollar General cash, and it gets credited right to your account. And this stuff turns really quick. So I thought that was pretty funny. The fact that you can go over to Dollar General and pay your house tax for $9,000, right? And them $9,000 in cash, right? And they scan a barcode. I don't know if I trust that, but that's a capability. Obviously, there's a fee that goes along with that as well. But I think we need to get the ERP system, understand what they're offering from a point of sale type before we move too much further. But yes, we need to do something there. So what other technology things do you guys think we ought to be looking at?
Continuing business, I believe, from last month, satellite redundancy for your emergency management.
Yes. And actually we did talk with, we had our emergency management meeting last week. And I did bring that up, and I know Amy's taking a look at that. I think there's some questions as to the mobility of it versus, having to lock it down. And I know, she was mentioning that you're looking at, some mobility stuff. We did.
For ours. I think for your solution at the firehouse.
Yep.
I mean, I think stationary
would probably be okay. Yeah. And I did notice that, and actually I got a link over the weekend. I saw that Starlink is now going to start charging if you shut shut your feed down, they're still going to charge you $10 a month for
$10 a month just to keep it alive. Yeah.
just to keep it alive, and then you can turn it on at any point in time to get it up and running. And one of the things that Janet brought up, so in the town, we are on a fiber feed through this complex. So the entire complex is on the fiber CN fiber backbone. Park and Rec and the town garage is not. They're both on Spectrum because it was going to be like $20,000 to $30,000 to get the feed through there. So there was some talk, and Janet actually brought up, and maybe with the Starlink thing is rather than going, having the thing up all the time. And then if we do have an emergency, we can actually pull it off of the town garage and bring it over to the EOC. I don't know whether that flies with the grant, because one of the things, the reason why we're looking at that is that there is part of emergency, was it DEMIS 5? We get a grant for emergency services, and there actually is a $2,000 rider to that grant to pay for a Starlink backup. So it's different from Tom. That it's something different. So that was actually one of the things, and that's what triggered this whole thing. And that was number one. Number two is that after that storm on the 4th of July, and the fact that Salisbury had 93% power outage and all of their cell towers were out, it made a lot of sense that we have some type of backup here, where at least got the EOC up and running, so that we can, do some type of communication. It'll handle up to 40 ports. So up to 40 people logging on at the same time. So it's,
This one Starlink.
This is one Starlink. Yeah.
What's it cost a month?
$165
For the priority, I think.
for the priority. Yeah. That's what was quoted, but you can shut it off. So if you're not, so that was the big thing, is we can keep the thing powered down, and then, if we do have a problem, they can power it up, and you pay $165 for that month. And then otherwise
And
you're
40
paying
people can
$10.
access it at a time.
Well, and it can be used to provide services.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, yeah.
ideally, it's to maintain communications. Do you know if the connection between the town hall and the firehouse, is that fiber above ground or is that below?
I
Because it's one tree and
think it's below. Don't quote me on that. That one, I
if it is,
I'm pretty sure it's below, because I think that it actually came by the rain garden.
okay.
All right. And when they were digging around the rain garden, I think they might have broke the cable at one point. So, that one I'm not 100% sure on.
The key
So
would be to, of course, enable unbroken service to an EOC, but you could also
right.
backfeed core services like your telephone service
Yes.
throughout in town hall at least.
Right. And that was part of what they were talking about, since our telephone system's all IP. One of the things that we would need to do is be able to hook that into obviously our system, so that I don't know, through our cybersecurity gates, how that whole thing would work. So we probably would need to get Vancord involved with getting that hooked up. But Janet and Amy were looking at trying to implement that, or at least get the specifications as to what we need to do. So yeah, that's a number 9.
And the only reason I bring it up is because I know that it's comparatively short fused. I think the grant has to be executed by September, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. Yeah. So that's
That's a Starlink.
And what the satellite redundancy for the EOC.
Okay.
Yeah.
right. It was satellite redundancy. So if we wanted to go to EchoStar or something, I mean, we could do that if you want to pay $1,000 a month,
Yeah.
right? Versus, so that's not going to happen. But I thought that would probably be a good thing, and we did bring that up in the last emergency services meeting.
Anything next that we want to discuss?
Get more owls.
Maybe we'd have to go take a look at what we've got available for funding. So when we bought this owl, this owl, you need to be TAA compliant on this, because it's a camera inside a government building. So you need to go through that. So that owl was about $2,500 if you just went to Amazon to buy it outright. B&H Photo had $500 off, so I was pretty pumped. It says, okay, we just saved the town $500. Then Nairi went on and then found out that there was a consortium that we can go to. We actually got $1,000 off that, so that actually only cost $1,400. Brand new, with a non-TAA compliant was $1,600. So we actually got a TAA compliant one cheaper than what an Owl 4 is. So So that may be a possibility. The other thing could be, we could maybe lock in, especially like in here. I mean, there's probably no reason why we couldn't actually set up a more permanent solution in here rather than just bring an owl in and out. And then we could just use that for meetings that kind of move around.
Even if you had one that you could just check out, like if a town committee meeting needed to borrow it or something.
Right. So Sue Ellen, and that was also one of the nice things is Sue Ellen actually at the town of Bolton, where she was from, she basically managed their live streaming, and they used owls up there as well. So I think, my big thing right now, this owl works okay with YouTube. I think it's like a 4K, but when you're using Zoom does some funny things with this, especially in the panorama view. It kind of like zooms in, everybody's talking. It truly zooms in on you. And if you watch this thing, you go look at the last Board of Finance meeting, you'd be like throwing up because it's like moving. It was like a moving ship, and we were trying to stop. So you probably saw the mode change a couple of times because I was trying to stop the thing, and you had the Brady Bunch thing where you're moving the squares around and they would move. They were like, it just didn't lock in. It was really a bizarre thing. So I've asked Sue Ellen to see if we can get that straightened out. The other thing that Sue Ellen's doing is we do have a Zoom account now for the town. And what we're doing is we're going to look at, the possibility of doing hybrid meetings, right? So that was one of the things I wanted to bring on a couple of months ago, but just obviously with the lack of time and such. So now Sue Ellen is focused on getting that set up and getting the rules set up for how to run a hybrid meeting, because, FOIA requires you 48 hours advance notice if you're going to run a hybrid meeting. The other thing is that when you're running a hybrid meeting, people that are online have to have the ability to speak during privilege of the floor like everyone else. And obviously we need to make sure that you're controlling that so that we don't run into a problem like happened with the waste advisory, that, we've got someone, when you're checking this out and you're running this thing on Zoom, that you've got someone technically savvy to be able to act as the person running it. Now, bring on the IT guy, depending on how we get that set up. That may be something that, when you go to check out the owl, you're also checking out the IT guy to kind of set the thing up for you. But haven't gotten that point yet, but that's something to think about.
Paul, you talked about a Zoom account. Did you consider Teams account instead? Because
we have Teams now. One of the problems. So we do have Teams, and
okay.
we've been using Teams for internal. The problem is that Teams is not 4K. If you look at the video on a Teams, it's really grainy. So when you're trying to record, it's good for, like if we're doing an internal meeting, but if you want to try to broadcast something outside, you really need something that's more like 4K. Like right now, we're just live streaming into YouTube.
Yep.
It's 4K. The picture looks great. But if you go through Teams and then into YouTube, it's really grainy and you get a lot of ghosting going on and stuff. So, but yes. The other thing with Zoom that I like better than Teams is that when part of the ADA compliance is you need to have the ability to turn captions on. Zoom captions are really good, and the transcript that comes off of Zoom is much better than what's coming off of Teams. So that's why you see a lot of people, what they're doing is external meetings are typically Zoom, internal meetings are typically Teams. I've been learning a lot the last couple of months.
It sounds as though you have a new partial IT person in Sue Ellen.
Yes, we do. Yeah, it's from the social media standpoint, phenomenal. I mean, she's done a lot. She's looking at. We've actually are starting to program. So there's a piece of software that she uses to actually to queue up these things. So we're actually my challenge to her is I'd like to see 4 or 5 posts a day coming out of the town, so that we are keep having people constantly being able to look, and she's taken that on. So we are putting some things out. We're probably not to 4 a day yet, but we definitely have some things plotted out for the rest of this week where you're going to see a couple of things like the Three Rivers piece of it. You'll see, we had a post coming out today. There'll be another one coming out tomorrow.
So I know one of the reasons I was so excited to see this committee come to being is to have hybrid meetings.
Yeah.
To have meetings where a member of a finance committee could be at home and attend the meeting
Still participate.
and still participate.
Yep.
And I think that breaks down the silos that any town, and we in Woodbury have with our town meetings, all of our town meetings, be it selectmen, be it finance, be it planning, whatever. And I'm really glad to see that we're aiming in that direction.
Yep.
And I think I looked at it from a non-technical point of view, not knowing prior to knowing that Owl was available, seeing that, this conference room is one, the senior center room is another, and the firehouse is the third. That's where 95% of the meetings take place.
Yeah.
So if we had three systems, whether they're Owls or something else, that were compatible with all of the technology that we wanted in those three locations, we'd be meeting 95% of our needs, and then for the 5% that don't meet there, we could have a portable owl.
Yeah.
So that's one of my goals.
Yeah.
On this committee.
One of the things with the owl that Larry and I learned is we can actually use this owl for town meetings as well. If we position it in the right spot, there's actually a mode that goes in there that it's a lock in. So it's a certain panorama view. You can actually narrow the thing down, and we set it up so that you could actually see the screen and you can see the speaker. So when Jamie was up there running the thing, we could actually get it set up so we can actually start to live stream. At least live stream. You're not going to be able to interact with it.
I don't think it would be hybrid, meaning I don't think that a town resident can sit in their home and participate.
Yeah.
But they can
listen.
Right. They can listen. Right.
Yeah. And then on top of it, it's also recorded. So if somebody doesn't
Exactly.
make the meeting, they can actually
Right.
fall back
Right.
and see it. So I think those are a couple of things that,
I like the idea of a planning commission meeting or, zoning commission, whatever, wetlands agency, have a hybrid such that people can participate that aren't there. But other than that, I don't think a town meeting is conducive to having a hybrid meeting.
So do you know, I don't want to put anything on Sue Ellen's plate, but do you think there would be something that could be done, like if we're gonna do a lot of streaming and capture those files and stream it on YouTube or whatever, that we could get sort of the agenda built in? So if there's a topic that you want to see, it's 3 minutes into the 1 hour video. Does that make sense?
yeah.
Almost like a table of contents, but you know where your marker is.
Yeah.
Right? Otherwise you're going to be scrolling like, where the hell do they get to this?
Yeah, you just annotate your timeline, right?
Yeah.
Usually YouTube will do that for you.
Yeah.
Like I've never seen it with a government meeting, but I know if I look at something, it'll give me like at 1 minute and so on. This
Right.
is what happens at 2 minutes in. It's this.
I mean, if it doesn't, that'd be great.
I don't know if that's YouTube or Google that's doing that.
I've seen that as well, though. But are you talking beforehand or after the fact?
After.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of places do that. I don't know, as Bill says, I don't know where, but
Who's doing it, but it happens.
Right.
Yeah, 'cause
Right.
I know a lot of different content providers will do it themselves, and it's really nice to just be able to go right to.
Yeah.
I know I had occasion to be a participant in a wetlands committee meeting, and we were on the agenda, but their meetings can go 2.5 hours, and for 5 minutes, and out 2 hours in, it's tough to sit through.
Oh yeah.
So it'd be wonderful.
Yeah.
Maybe not in my lifetime, but I think maybe in your lifetime they'll be able to do that.
Maybe AI.
So, it sounds as though we're kind of, wrapping down to just random ideas, does this committee go any further today, or do we wrap up today?
Can I just ask a question just on, and I apologize to everybody for missing the last couple of meetings, and appreciate the work you did in my absence. But just overall, what is it that you guys want out of this committee? Is it just because, I've got a lot of notes, we've talked about a lot of things, or I've listened to a lot of things, but are you looking for feedback on any of these initiatives or ideas, or is it what is the goal, I guess? And I'll put that to anybody. I don't know.
So I think
again, I apologize.
Yeah,
I'm
no.
kind of new to the whole government thing. I'm trying to learn. So
No, I think, when I first considered, a couple of years ago, the whole technology thing was actually to provide advice and counsel, right? We've got there's a lot of expertise that's around this table, right? And so what I was looking for was assistance in some of the things that we need to do. So, I mean, we know that we have a certain number of initiatives, right? And we've kind of listed those things. That's some of the input that I'm looking for you guys. All right, what do you think? Are we looking in the right direction? Maybe help us do some research in trying to implement some of these things. Now, a couple of these things were so far advanced down that there's not going to be a lot the committee can do. So that's number one. And the second thing is exactly what you said, is what other ideas do you have, right? I mean, there's some things that we basically talked about. From a cybersecurity standpoint, are we protected? Are we we take a look at our hardware? I'll tell you right now, Bill, we don't have anything on fixed assets. I can't tell you. Well, I shouldn't say that. We can probably tell you some of the computers that we have, but I can't tell you what some of the stuff is. I mean, the way that we track computers is if it's logged on. All right, we'll know what the computer is, and we generally have an idea, what the IP address is, so we kind of know that this was a senior center log on and things like that. Or we can actually see when someone physically logs in. All right, we know that Lauren Ray logged in with this computer, so probably it's her computer, but it may not be because it could have been, one of the other computers that were over there. So we need to be able to, get an idea of what should we be doing with the replacement stuff, right? And are we maintaining our assets? So there is no asset list. The roadmap that we have for cybersecurity protection. Vancord talked to us in an executive session about some of the stuff that we have. I think there's some follow-up work that needs to be done there. And again, from a cybersecurity standpoint, man, that has changed so much since I was at IBM. I really need you guys to help with that piece of it, right? And then anything else, there's probably a number of things that I am, not looking at right now that we probably should be looking at. So that's kind of where, that's my standpoint. I don't know, Nairi, if you got.
I guess the only other thing, kind of, you're talking about the fixed asset computer part, but really understanding, I guess, we would just need help. Who should be here for IT support? What should they be doing? What should they be charging us? Just to get a better grip on that, because I know we'll have an IT employee here, which we don't have now, and that's really hindered us. But, there was a time where we're just getting quotes, and previously they were just being accepted as is. So that one is a kind of an urgent one for me, given the fact that the contract is coming to an end. I think we just need to be able to help define what should they be doing. Are there other companies that are doing this stuff where we don't need to have, I don't know, say for example, MDR. I do know on our crime policy we can pay for MDR, but is that as good as having Vancord doing that for us? I just don't know enough to make that call.
And there's some things I think that we're doing today, and that actually brought up another idea, right? We're utilizing for multi-factor authentication, we're using Duo, right? And yet we've got a Microsoft license and we're paying for a bunch of E3 licenses, and I know Entra is part of that. So should we, be converting over and kind of consolidating some of our software packages over to something that we may already be paying for that we're not even using right now. And we've asked Vancord a couple of times about that, haven't been getting a good feedback on that. So maybe that's something again that you guys can take a look at, and help us steer the direction. You may not have to do it exactly, but I mean, kind of give us some general ideas of what we're doing.
So I guess more of like a best practice is what should we be doing here and where can we get those services from? And for example, with Duo, I know they just stayed with Duo because that's what we were using before. To me, that's not the best answer, but that's what they've done. However, going to Microsoft, I don't know what that means to all of our sign-ons, and I don't know how to actually do that.
And Bill, I need to say that my involvement with technology predates these two town employees being town employees.
It's not hard.
It's not hard, but it's true. Our last administration was great in many things, but severely lacking in technology. And that was a concern of mine when I was chairman of the Charter Revision Commission. And Kathy was very kind to say, hey, there are a few people, one of which is in this room as well, and now our first selectman, that is very interested in seeing technology improve in the town. And there were a couple other people as well. And I said, I am going to make sure that we have a technology committee over the objection of our former administrator. And that happened. And I went to her personally and told her, and that happened. And that's why I'm here. I'm not a technology person, but I embrace technology. These two people embrace it and know it. You guys know it very, very well. I mean, I don't know technology at all, but I'm willing to be part of this and make sure that we go in the direction that we need to go. So that's where it is. That's where I see it is. I'm really thrilled to see these two folks here, and this. I'm thrilled that we're just around this table having this conversation. Tom, you wanted to jump in.
Yeah, I was just gonna go back to, you brought up, Nyree, something coming up for renewal. Is that software?
That is our relationship with Vancord.
Right.
So
Yeah.
Vancord's our endpoint protection. So they're the guys that do all the monitoring. So our endpoint monitoring, they've been doing all of the support for all of IT for the last 3 years. So
And I think we'll want to have a conversation with the town team and this committee, probably in an executive session, as to how to move forward with Vancord or without Vancord. How do we best move forward? So that's something that I might consider all of us. It is July. Our next meeting is August. We're going to have some type of conversations as to how we move forward by September. So
Well, before that, if you're gonna
Right.
put in a planning again,
Yeah.
Right.
like now.
right.
yes.
Right.
Well, as you reminded us,
So-
Brian, you
so-
probably said it should have been happening about 6 months ago.
So
but-
I'm happy with your folks' permission to shut off all and go into executive meeting now if you want, to have a preliminary discussion on this.
We could.
Sure.
Are you folks ready, drilling? So I would shut it down and say, have a nice walk, Kathy.
Thank
you very much,
The chairs in the morning.
Thank you.
All right. Very good. All right. I will be ending the stream.
And
Well, before you go into executive
Go ahead.
session, the only other thing I forgot to add, the idea